It's a high, deep drive into left field, and this ball is long gone. Safe, he got under the tag.
One hop the wall and it lands for a double.
Want to ride into deep left field, and this ball is gone. Falmouth is going to the Western Division Final.
Good evening and welcome to Gov Fuller Field for Game 2 of this day-night home-and-home doubleheader between the Falmouth Commodores and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Game 1 this afternoon belonged to the Doors, who defeated Hyannis 9-5 out at McKeon Park. And the Commodores will look to make it a sweep of the day and their 4th win over the Hawks this season in front of the home crowd. Danny LaRose, David Korzanowski here in the booth with you. Pleased to bring you Game 40 of 44 of the 2019 summer, and pleased that you've decided to spend your Monday evening with us at the Gov. David, the bats were alive in Game 1 for both sides, but Falmouth had the edge. They were just a little bit better, winning 9-5, and that's a theme that we've seen Hyannis struggle with all season long.
Yeah, I mean, when the Commodores put themselves up 8-0, they put themselves in the driver's seat, especially in the 7-inning game. We saw home runs from Blake Dunn, a grand slam to the opposite field, and then another shot for Kevin Kendall. The Harbor Hawks responded with 3 home runs of their own in the bottom of the 5th inning off of Sean Mullen, but conserving arms, they left him out there, and Christian Edwards, maybe the unsung hero of that game. Innings 6 and 7, he only gave up 1 hit and struck out 5. This team looks as good as ever. They've won 12 of 13 now.
Yeah, they got their first loss in 2 weeks just yesterday, bounced back with a couple games against Hyannis, and I think that's doing them some justice as they're back in their winning ways, looking to make it back-to-back wins on the day, this being their second doubleheader in about 3 days, and they've got another doubleheader coming up on Wednesday. So arms, arms, arms. That's going to be the main mantra for Falmouth. We saw them conserving them, having a bullpen game in Game 1, and I'm sure we're going to see the same thing in Game 2 with tonight's starter.
Yeah, the Commodores are looking to start Logan Hoffman for about 3 innings. This is his first start of the summer. We've seen him go 3 innings before. It was in relief in the opener, actually, way back on June 10th against the Harwich Mariners. Then they're going to go to Bradley Littleton most likely, and then Zach Brixey on the tail end. So, you know, things are flexible if a guy gets racked and runs into some trouble, but those are the 3 guys that they're looking to pitch in today's game.
Commodores 9-5 victors in Game 1, like we mentioned, over the Harbor Hawks. The wind was howling out to center field. It seemed like everybody who made contact and got underneath the baseball was driving one over the fence. It was especially the case for Hyannis.
Yeah.
All of their runs came by way of the long ball. Falmouth was a little bit more spread out with their run support, able to get 9 over the Hawks, who are throwing another pitcher who's got a very high ERA.
Yeah, Kyle Murphy, who the Doors have seen a couple times before. He's going to be a senior next year at Northeastern. 7.65 ERA, which sadly enough for Hyannis is one of the better starting ERAs on the team. He's got a 1-2 record. This is start number 3. He's pitched 20 innings, gotten 21 strikeouts. The Doors saw him in back-to-back games. First on July 9th, he started that game, went 4 1/3, gave up 4 runs. And then on July 15th, that was the day that the Commodores started their winning streak. He went 2 2/3 in relief, gave up only 1 hit, walked none, and struck out 4. So that was one of his better outings of the summer. He usually goes between 2 and 4 innings. It's also a bullpen day for Hyannis, as they are now playing 4 games in 2 days.
So we saw Kyle Murphy a couple of times. One time he was stellar against the Commodores. One time he was very off. We'll see what Kyle Murphy we get today, as we've been getting consistency out of Logan Hoffman all summer long. Guy with that stellar ERA, like you mentioned, and he was an all-star for the Doors, pitched an inning of work out at Orleans a little over a week ago, racked up 2 strikeouts. He's been one of the maybe surprise pitchers on the Cape. Coming from a JUCO in Colby, going to Northwestern State, which is definitely not a premier baseball school, but he's been pitching like no other. Has a very quick fastball coming from that small frame, but how about the hammer that he can drop?
He's great, yeah. His 12-6 curveball is one of the biggest looping curveballs that we see from any Commodores pitcher, but he is great. I mean, he's only walked 7 batters and struck out 20 in 13 1/3 innings. As I said, those first couple appearances, he went 3 and 2 innings respectively, and then after that, he went mainly about an inning. But tonight, they're looking to get probably 3 out of the righty, who stands at only 5'11".
So Jordan Westberg will lead off for the Harbor Hawks as we'll roll through their batting order. Westberg followed by Ian Fair, then Hunter Goodman, 1, 2, 3 to start off the ball game for Hyannis. as time is called as Logan Hoffman started his windup because an errant pitch from the bullpen came across onto the field. Just about to get underway at 6:03. Instead, we'll wait a couple of seconds, and first pitch from Hoffman as he winds and fires to the righty from Mississippi State will come in at 6:04. A fastball strike on the outside corner. So Fair and Goodman follow Westberg. Then it's Jared DeSantolo, the designated hitter, followed by Trevor Hauver and Jackson Olson. 7, 8, and 9 in the Hyannis lineup. Adam Hackenberg, Rowdy Jordan, and Anthony Servideo. Jordan Westberg has been excellent on the Cape this summer. 330 plus average as he watches another slider break off the outside part of the plate.
I'm interested to see how these teams respond. Playing a few hours after the close of Game 1. I thought that Game 1 might have been a little bit sloppy going into it. Neither team had an error. So that kind of proved me wrong, as it was actually a pretty sound game defensively. It was just the pitchers who ran into a little bit of trouble here and there. We saw a lot of walks, especially from Hyannis, and then obviously 5 long bombs between the two teams.
Yeah, a lot of pitches up in the zone, and with the wind out at McKeon Park, it definitely helped out with the fly balls. As there's a foul tip off the mask of Troy Claunch to keep the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jordan Westberg had one of those big bombs. He ended up going 2 for 3, had a 3-run home run in the 5th inning that at the time cut the Falmouth lead in half. They ended up tacking on another run. Doors won 9-5 in a slugfest, and that's something that I did not predict. I was expecting the bats to be a little stagnant, the offenses not to be really lively, because it was a noon start, which is by far the earliest these guys have had since their school seasons. Hoffman shakes off Claunch once, now lifts and fires the 2-2. It's a slider that has popped up into shallow right field. Tim Tawa ranges back in. He'll make the catch for out number 1. Westberg retired in the defensive alignment as we get to it. Claunch catching for Hoffman. The infield, Trey Cruz at third, Kevin Kendall at short, Tim Tawa at second base, and Steven Moretto at first base. The outfield from left to right, Maisel, Dunn, and Radcliffe. So a ton of new starters coming in on the infield for Falmouth.
And that just shows this team's depth.
Yeah.
Because there's really no weak spot in the defense in this game.
First pitch swinging is Ian Fair as he fouls one away.
But it's the first time we've seen Baron Radcliffe out in right field in a little over a week. The last time he was out there was in game number 2 against Wareham, doubleheader last Friday.
0-1 from Hoffman, another big breaking ball that he gets for a strike on the inside corner. Ian Fair in game number 1 had a solo shot right after Westberg's 3-run home run. That was his lone hit of the ball game. Big curveball, little bit high. Close one, but he doesn't get the call. Lights coming on at Gov Fuller Field. Couple clouds streaking the sky up above left field. Beautiful night here in Falmouth. Breaking ball sits up in the zone, but Fair chases after it and fouls it back.
Yeah, and going back to that defense, Tim Tawa over at second base. Again, we saw him come in to pinch hit and replace Hayden Cantrell in the field. Cantrell was mentioning to me how he is feeling it a little bit. He's relatively tired, but I'm sure he just needs a rest, as these guys have really not gotten a break in the month of July.
Yeah, tough if you're a guy like Cantrell who's constantly at the leadoff position and constantly playing somewhere in the infield. You could use a day of rest. He loves playing, but I think deep down he might want some days off. 1-2 will come home yet again from Hoffman. It's a fastball that's chopped foul off his front foot. Count will remain the same. Ian Fair putting it together a nice at-bat.
And that's the longest way I've seen a foul ball go off someone's foot.
Yeah, that's got to hurt.
I mean, that went all the way to Trey Cruz over at third.
The Doors 3-1-1 against the Harbor Hawks this season.
So they've claimed the season series already.
1-2 yet again. Breaking ball grounded towards Cruz. This time not off the foot of Fair. Throw on to first in time. 2 up, 2 down to start the ball game.
And I think that's one of the most impressive stats for this Commodores team. They only have a losing record against one team in the Cape League.
YD Red Sox.
Every series except the Katuitt series is decided. Won the season series against Orleans, Brewster, and Chatham. Split against Bourne and Harwich. And won decidedly 5-zip to Wareham.
First pitch to another righty is a big looping breaking ball on the outside corner for strike one. This righty is Hunter Goodman, Cape Cod leader in RBIs. Goodman, a catcher from Memphis. Chops one towards short. This is an easy play for Kevin Kendall. His throw on to first in the dirt. Scoop couldn't be made by Steven Moretto. He's not a natural first baseman. Goodman's going to take second as Claunch wasn't there to back it up in time.
Ruled an E6 as it should be. That was just a low throw from Kevin Kendall. Ball got to him in a hurry. He just rushed that transfer and throw onto first. He had plenty of time because Goodman is not a speedster down the first base line, but that is that first error that we've seen all day.
And that's something we said that game one we were expecting maybe a little sloppy. Maybe the bats weren't going to be alive. Game two, hedging our bets again. This has got to be the one, right?
Right.
You know, the pitchers are well rested. But the players definitely are not. They had a whole travel time and all that traffic on Route 28 to get back over to the Gov.
I mean, it's a hot day, too. It takes a lot out of you.
We were drained.
Oh, yeah. Were? Past tense?
Finally, a lefty will break up the onslaught of righties in this Hyannis lineup. It's Jared DeSantolo who watches a pitch sink just below the knees. He's the designated hitter from Florida Atlantic.
He's one of a few new starters for Hyannis, designated hitting in this game. We saw Trevor Hover in the cleanup spot for game one. He's on deck.
1-0. Just misses a little outside. Quickly 2 balls and no strikes. DeSantolo 2 for his last 14. A batting average on the summer at around 288. So he's just started to slump recently. Goodman on second base, not with the most speed, but he'll be running on contact with 2 outs. Hoffman fires from the stretch, the 2-0. Down in the zone, it's poked foul.
DeSantolo, a really consistent guy. 288 average this summer. Back at school, he was 298. Freshman year, he burst onto the scene with a 342 average, but he really hasn't had a down year or a down season so far in his college career.
Hoffman's 2-1 offering to the lefty from FAU is taken down and in as Logan has thrown quite a few balls. We're not used to seeing him throw a lot of balls. So far, 6 now compared to 13 strikes. He's fallen behind against his first batter all night.
Yeah, and pitch count's so important in these doubleheaders. That's why the error stings even more.
This will be pitch number 20 of the inning. It's a 3-1. Fastball lifted into left center field. Maisel will let it bounce on a hop as the run will come home. Hyannis opens up the scoring. It's 1-0.
And that's another reason that the error is going to come back to bite you. It's an unearned run as Hunter Goodman reached on the error, but hard hit single from DeSantolo. Maisel had the choice to either go for it and dive, but it was just a half a step too late, and if he did dive, that could have gotten past him and resulted in extra bases for the cleanup man.
Yeah, good call by Maisel. So Hoffman allows a run, but it will not be charged against his ERA as his first pitch to Trevor Hover is taken down and in. Claunch lost track of it for a second, but recovers in time. 1 run home for Hyannis on only the 1 hit. It was smooth sailing through the first 2 batters of the first inning. Westberg popped out, fair grounded out. But an errant throw from Kevin Kendall that couldn't be picked out of the dirt allowed the 3-hitter Goodman to reach second. The base hit knocked him home. The 1-0. Line drive into right field, pardon me. That one's going to get down. Radcliffe plays it on a hop. On to second goes DeSantolo. Trevor Hover reaches first base. And Hyannis with a 2-out rally going. They've got 2 runners on.
Yeah, now that pitch count's going to get up to about 25 in this inning. Hyannis, a good offensive team. Not great, but we know that they're accustomed to high-scoring games with the pitching staff that they have. Good for them to get on the board first, especially considering this tough stretch that they've been in. Falling behind 8-0 was really did them in game 1.
Yeah.
So to get an early lead is huge for them.
1-0 is a big curve that drops on the outside corner. That thing is like 24-6, not even 12-6. Jackson Olsen, the third baseman for Hyannis, batting .240. Got the start in game number 1, had a single, went 1 for 3. Here's the 0-1, another big curve, but it misses.
I was going to try to make some pun or play on words with 12-6 curveball and the fact that our doubleheader was at 12-6.
Oh.
But I couldn't execute.
Well, you know what?
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought, yeah.
Appreciate you.
Because that was clever. 1-1 is a fastball, cut on and missed. Looked like a late decision by Olsen to swing. Probably would have been ball 2. But Hoffman gets him, and he's ahead 1 ball to 2 strikes.
Yeah, definitely would have been ball 2. That was well above the letters. Olsen kind of helping Hoffman out with that high pitch. He's got that rising fastball that kind of moves up either in the zone or out of the zone as it comes across the plate.
Here's his 1-2. Another breaking ball that misses too far inside. Looks like when he's trying to throw, I think it's a slider on the inside zone, he's going a little too far south with it, and it's easy to lay off from these hitters. Olsen with that slightly open stance. Hoffman still from the stretch. 3 straight runners have reached base, 2 with singles. Trying to limit the damage at 1. The 2-2. Fly ball into center field. Dunn has to trot back a few steps, but he'll camp under it and make the catch for out number 3. Hyannis opens up the scoring. They get 1 run on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 runners stranded on the base paths. We'll go to the bottom of the first inning on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Bottom 1 we go as we'll look at the Falmouth Commodores lineup for Game 2 against the Harbor Hawks in this doubleheader. And we're seeing a pretty different lineup from Game 1, like you said, last half inning. Just goes to show about the depth that these doors can offer.
Yeah, Tawa roped a double in his 1 at-bat of game number 1. Came in late in that game for Hayden Cantrell. He's been really feeling himself lately. Blake Dunn in the 2 spot. And then 3 and 4, Deloach and Cruz. They're pretty much consistent every night at those particular spots. Neither of them had an RBI in game 1, but the Doors still played at 9 runs. I think that speaks to how complete this batting order is, 1 through 9. And I really like what Blake Dunn's doing lately. I mean, I know a grand slam obviously is going to help him out, but when you look at the top of the order, I think the 2 spot is the most overlooked in baseball because people often go to the leadoff. They check out who's in the cleanup spot.
Tawa swings at the first pitch and grounds a foul.
But if you have a guy who's consistently reaching base and getting 16 RBIs in a summer season who's batting second, you are going to be in very good shape.
Well, if you were to ask the advanced stats guys and the sabermetric guys in Major League Baseball, as Tawa swings at another fastball, ropes it into the fans down the right field line. Looks like it rattled off a chair. Close call for a couple of the fans, but luckily he was standing up. But if you were to talk to the sabermetric guys, the advanced stat guys, they would say that the 2-hitter is the most important for some fancy stats that I wouldn't know how to compute the math on.
I believe it because, again, you usually look at 3 and 4 as your RBI guys, your power hitters, even the 5 spot people look at. But as I said, Blake Dunn has been really good, especially lately in that 2 spot. And when the Doors really got going in July, it was when Blake Dunn was 6 for 9 in back-to-back games against Katuitt.
Here's the 1-2 from Murphy. It's a big breaking ball on the just off the outside corner, I should say. Again, this is Kyle Murphy on the hill for Hyannis. 7.65 ERA through 20 innings of work. Has faced the Doors twice. The 2-2. Another slider that misses away. He's throwing to Adam Hackenberg behind the plate. The outfield from left to right for the Harbor Hawks. Trevor Hauver, Rowdy Jordan, and Hunter Goodman. Infield, Jackson Olsen at third, Jordan Westberg at short, Servideo at second, Ian Fair at first. As the 3-2 is a fastball in the inside corner, strike 3 called. Dawa thought it was a little too far inside, but John Petula punches him out for the first out of the bottom of the first.
Number 23, Blake Dunn.
And here is Blake Dunn with that 235 average. We've seen it really skyrocket about 30 points in the past week or so.
Blake, a rising junior at Western Michigan, a native of the state of Michigan. First pitch to him is another fastball on the outside black for strike 1. Murphy's 0-1, swung on and missed. There's that slider that he loves to rely on. Finally gets it over the outside corner and gets a swing and a miss from Dunn.
He works really quickly, too.
0-2, working quickly again. Fastball cut on and missed, strike 3. Blake Dunn looking like a shell of his self in game 1 when he went 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs. Strikes out on only 3 pitches, and there are quickly 2 outs in the first.
This is what we saw from Kyle Murphy in his start against Falmouth back on July 9th, though. First couple innings, he was locked down. Didn't allow an earned run. But then innings 3, 4, and 5, that's when he really struggled because he was going further than he was used to.
First pitch fastball is roped foul to the opposite field by Zach DeLoach. DeLoach, the team leader in batting average at .347. It dropped just 3 points after he went 1 for 4 in game 1. The 0-1. Fastball clips the knees. It's John Petula calling the balls and strikes behind the plate. Looks like he's got a low zone. First base umpire Joe Lasapora. Third base umpire John DiGirolamo. 0-2.
Right, yeah.
Misses down and in. Those are ridiculous.
Joe, John, and Joe. John, Joe, and John. And all of them Italian names.
Yeah, ending in vowels. And I struggle with Italian names. Here's the 1-2 to DeLoach. Caught on and missed, strike 3. Went with another breaking ball, and Kyle Murphy strikes out the side in the first. How about that for Murphy? Throws only 13 pitches. We'll go to the top of the second inning. It's 1-0 Hyannis.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Welcome back to Go Fuller Field as we begin the top of inning number 2. It'll be the bottom of the order for the Harbor Hawks. Adam Hackenberg, Rowdy Jordan, Anthony Servideo, all of whom got the first game off. First pitch from Logan Hoffman to start off the second is popped up into foul ground along the first base side, up and out of play.
I was curious if the Doors and the Harbor Hawks were going to switch jerseys when they switched fields, and they did indeed.
Yeah, Hyannis sporting the blue. They were in white earlier. Huge slider from Logan Hoffman. My goodness, that thing was on a string.
That's what they call a wipeout slider. Really broke at the very last minute away from the righty Hackenberg.
We're seeing Hoffman start a game for the first time. 0-2, misses outside. Inning number 1, he did allow 2 hits and a run, but the run was unearned. He should have gotten out of the inning facing the minimum when Kevin Kendall made an errant throw towards first base on a potential 6-3 putout. 1-2 now the count to the catcher from Clemson. Batting 186 on the summer. The pitch, fastball just outside.
Yeah, just a shade off the plate. Really good placement. He was trying to get a swing from Hackenberg. And a good frame by Klonch, too.
2-2 to Hackenberg. Fouled away again into the crowd. Adam Hackenberg batting 1,000 against Logan Hoffman. I'm not sure when they faced each other, but evidently he got a hit. I think it was up back on June 14th in the tie ball game, 9-9.
Yeah, that was the only hit Hoffman gave up in those 2 innings.
The 2-2. Ground ball towards Kendall. Here's a chance to redeem himself. His throw onto first is a bullet, and that's out number 1.
Yeah, he wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. Good throw. Good stretch by Moretto as well. Going back to that errant throw from him, it was a little bit low. And you mentioned it right as the play happened, but Moretto, what would you say about start 5 or 6 at first base now?
Yeah, 5, I think.
Yeah.
4 or 5.
And scooping balls is the toughest thing you have to do as a first baseman. No question about it.
First pitch to the left-hander Rowdy Jordan is fouled back into the screen. Rowdy batting 128 this summer. Started his summer at 0 for 17. So didn't get himself out into a good position out of the gate. Has improved a little bit. 3 RBIs for Rowdy, the outfielder from Mississippi State. Lifts one into shallow left field. Maisel is coming on in. Cruz is going to call for it, wave everybody else away, and come down with the baseball. First 2 outs recorded in the second inning as well, just like the first. We'll see if Hoffman makes it easy on himself to get out number 3.
Third out is always the toughest to get. Servideo having a tough summer with a 147 average. Hoffman wants to take care of business here because Westberg looming on deck. He had a 3-run home run in game 1, but popped out to second base his first time up.
Anthony Servideo, important statistic that we need to bring up, 0 for 39 versus left-handed pitching. I think that's why he didn't get the start in game 1.
Well, thank goodness Hoffman's a righty, right? For Servideo.
His average doesn't help him out much as he swings and misses at that off-speed pitch, batting well below the Mendoza line.
That is a ridiculous stat. It's kind of funny, though, because Lyle Goldstein, one of the broadcasters for Hyannis, was like, you know, I don't know if I'm going to say it on the broadcast. I might say it when he gets his first hit versus a lefty.
0-2, swung on and missed. It's not a lefty, but he has the same struggles. Strikes out swinging on only 3 pitches, and it is the first K in favor of Hoffman on the evening. He works a 1-2-3 inning, and we'll head to the home second, 1-0 in favor of the Hawks.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Bottom 2, we go from Go Fuller Field after the Commodores Went down 1-2-3, all with strikeouts. They'll try to bounce back in the second inning against Kyle Murphy. Trey Cruz will lead off. David, you were telling something that you told me the punchline.
Oh yeah.
In between innings, and I need you to finish this.
So
up.
it got cut off when Servideo struck out on 3 pitches, but Lyle Goldstein, one of the nicest guys on the Cape, really, as a big curveball misses high to Trey Cruz. You know, he's had a tough summer as one of the broadcasters for Hyannis. Just to 7 wins he's got to call.
1-0 to the switch hitter batting left is fouled back.
And he was kind of dancing around that stat. He told us, he was like, Servideo 0 for 39 versus lefties, but I don't want to say that on the broadcast because it's kind of brutal, and I don't want to be too hard on these guys who have already had a tough summer. And the punchline was, you just went for it on his first at bat. You just went in for the kill.
1-1 to Cruz is loped out towards left field. This one falling fast and drifting foul, and Trevor Hoffer won't be able to catch up to it. Trey will live to see another pitch. Sometimes things need to be said.
No, I agree. I definitely agree. It's just funny, the difference in personalities. So it's the sinister laugh too.
Well, I started saying it before I realized, like, oh man, why am I saying it now?
Right,
Hoffman's not even a lefty.
Yeah.
But I think it was an important note. That's why we didn't see Servideo in Game 1.
Yeah, definitely. Because Weatherly, who was the starting pitcher for Falmouth, was a left-hander.
Trey Cruz facing a 1-2 count. He's batting .312 on the summer. The pitch backs away from it. Fastball inside. Trey, is he still tied for the team lead? There are about 3 guys who are bouncing back and forth with RBIs. He's at 21 RBIs, which is tied with Zach DeLoach for the lead. 2-2. Soft line drive, takes a hop towards Jackson Olsen. His throw onto first is high, but Ian Fair is ginormous, and he comes down with it. That's the first out of the inning, and the first time the Falmouth Commodores have not struck out.
Yeah, so he and DeLoach tied for the team lead in RBIs. Radcliffe not far behind at 19. And sneaky making a push, Blake Dunn. It's up to 16.
Oh, good for him. Troy Claunch will come up to the plate. Catcher from Oregon State, who we haven't seen in a few games. Got the day off yesterday and the day off in Game 1. Watches a fastball for a strike on the inside half.
And he was also another guy who was getting a little bit of extra rest. I remember a collision that he had way back in early July against Katuitt. Don't think that was what was keeping him out, but he didn't play in either game at the doubleheader on Saturday either.
0-1 to Troy, misses off the plate. Troy been struggling a little bit as well, 2 for his last 19. He had a 2-for-2 game against the Wareham Gatemen a couple games ago, as that is a high fastball called for a strike. And then looked like he was going to break off the Schneid, responded by going 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts in his next 2 games. A 175 average for the Beaver out in Corvallis. The 1-2. Slider that's lifted into shallow right field. That one's going to get down for a hit. Great hitting from Troy Claunch as he takes a big turnaround first base and will hold on for a single. It's the first base runner for Falmouth of the evening. It's a single belonging to Troy Claunch. And again, great slider, hangs up on and pokes it off the end of the bat.
Yeah, that's really good hitting. It's tough to take that off speed and wait on it, and then it can be really tough to drive it, so sometimes you just got to poke it, either foul it away and hope you get a better, juicier pitch, or try to keep it inside of the foul line, and that's exactly what Troy Claunch did. No chance for the right fielder Goodman to get there. It lands about 2 feet to the left of the right field line.
First pitch to the surging Barron Radcliffe is taken just off the plate. His batting average now up to .250. A little over a couple weeks ago. Really, the doors came on hot and won those 11 straight. He was red hot as well. Has hits in 9 of his last 10 games played. Fastball cut on and missed by the big lefty from Georgia Tech. A ball on a strike.
And really, all of his stats are starting to look, outstanding.
Yeah.
If he finishes the summer with a 250 plus average, because if you hit, around 250 or higher in the Cape League, that is really good, especially against this pitching.
And especially with this home run count he's got.
Yep.
As he is tied for the team lead in dingers. 3-way tie at 5 home runs between himself, Zach DeLoach, and Taylor Smith. And you know what? A lot of major league teams might look at it and say, we could use a 250 average type guy if he's going to put up, let's say, 35, 40 bombs.
Oh, yeah.
Radcliffe has Claunch on first, who doesn't have a lot of speed, but he was still checked on. Murphy from the stretch for the first time tonight fires home a slider that misses down and in.
And if I'm remembering correctly, Murphy looks a lot better from the windup than he does the stretch, and you can see it right here. First base runner he's allowed, and now the first time he's really fallen behind in a count. 3 balls.
3 balls, 1 strike to a powerful hitter. Here's the pitch. Middle in fastball that is scorched up the foul line. Too far to the right of it. That was a mistake. Murphy got away with one because Barron was just out ahead of it, but he was all over it. Radcliffe, a competitor in the home run derby a little over a week ago in Orleans. The 3-2.
Oh my goodness.
Another hard shot up and towards the crowd. That one lands off of the fence protecting the tennis courts at the, what is it, the Gus Canty Rec Center or something?
Is that the name of it?
I think so. Right next to the rec center, and there's tennis courts, and Barron Radcliffe just hit him. He's trying to straighten it out, maybe put one onto the football field in right field. 3-2 again comes home. Fly ball into deep left center. Rowdy Jordan is tracking it as it keeps going on deeper and deeper before he finally reels it in and crashes into the wall. Loud out number 2 off the bat of Radcliffe.
And the flag's whipping here in Falmouth, too, right out towards left field. So that looked like a fly ball off the bat, and it just kept carrying, and Jordan making the catch right before he slams into the wall. That just shows you the power that Barron Radcliffe has. That was off the end of the bat.
Yep.
That wasn't an unbelievable swing. It was on the outside part of the plate for Murphy. Pretty good placement so that Radcliffe couldn't really pull it, and it still almost snuck out.
When you're 6'4", 240, and we're being recruited to be a football player, you've got that type of power. As Steven Moretto turns on one, and just like that, the Doors are getting a lot of hard contact off of Murphy, but all of them going pretty much foul.
Yeah, the Doors are seeing him really well right now. They just got to sit back a little bit, start that swing half a second later.
Moretto now batting an even 200 on the summer, 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. 2 of those home runs coming in the last 3 games, and a third of those RBIs coming in the last 3 games. Steven went 0 for his last game played. The righty from Sacramento State against the righty from Northeastern as a fastball dips below the knees. 2 balls and a strike.
And right now, Hackenberg's seeing what's happening as well. Catcher setting up on the outside part of the plate to Moretto, the righty. He was doing the same thing last at bat, but to the opposite side of the plate after Radcliffe turned on a couple fastballs.
Runner on first, still Troy Claunch. He had a 1-out single, and he's looked back yet again. Again, I don't think that Troy is going to be stealing.
I gotta agree with you.
The 2-1 from Murphy. Line drive into right field. That's going to get down for a hit. Claunch is going to have to hold up at second as Goodman was playing pretty far shallow. But it's a single off the bat of Moretto, who continues to hit pretty well. He's 4 for his last 10, and the Doors are in business. Runners on first and second for Kevin Kendall.
Pretty much the same kind of swing we saw from Troy Claunch. A little bit defensive, pokes it into the opposite field, puts it back where it came from. And they're starting to really see Murphy well. His pitch count now in the mid-30s.
Kevin Kendall getting back-to-back starts for the first time in some time. He played in Game 1 and was awesome. 2 for 3 with a home run. First pitch to the lefty from UCLA is a fastball well off the plate. He was 0 for his last 13 and 2 for his last 27 before his 2 hits in the first game of this doubleheader. Earned some confidence from Jeff Trundy. His mom's in town as well. Seems like these players, when they've got family and loved ones in town,
this is true.
They're awesome. 1-0 is fouled back. We've seen it.
Extra incentive.
Yeah, and you know what? They don't get the yips. Maybe you get too far inside your own head trying to impress your family, but they don't. It seems like they're more comfortable. We saw it with Hayden Cantrell, and his girlfriend was in town this weekend.
Yeah.
He was awesome. Blake Dunn, whenever his parents are in town.
Which is like...
He's red hot.
Which is like once a week.
Yeah, exactly. Trey Cruz has had his brother and dad around, and he's been really clocking baseballs. 1-1 to Kendall. Big looping breaking ball that sits high.
I know it's something we probably don't say enough, but we've met so many awesome parents throughout the year, parents and friends who tune into these games, and they have such kind words for us, and we're so appreciative to them for letting us, cover their sons and to be a part of this team.
Yeah, very appreciative and always thankful when you guys come by and thank us. Here's the 2-1. Another breaking ball this time. It's over the middle of the plate, and the count is even. Kendall, a 174 batting average. 2 home runs, 8 RBIs. Batting .333 against Murphy, so he's faced him a couple times, and he's tagged him. Claunch on second. Moretto on first. Doors trailing by just a run. Murphy's 2-2 offering. Breaking ball, just getting a piece, is the shortstop to stay alive.
And looking a little bit more at Kendall's stats, he's had 3 2-hit games, but then some offers in between. 2 hits in game 1 of the doubleheader, and then the last time he had a hit before that was probably his best game of the summer, 2 for 3 with a 2-run home run against the Wareham Gatemen, game 2 of that doubleheader on July 19th.
2-2. Misses up and away. Seems like Kevin's always at his best in doubleheaders.
True. Put him in the lineup on Wednesday. We'll be doing it again.
Full count now to Kendall, who has not walked in 11 straight games. Hasn't been since July 7th that he's received a free pass. Murphy comes set. His payoff pitch. A fastball that's lined back into the fence. And Kevin, even if he gets out right here, won't have to hang his head. This is quite the at-bat.
Definitely. This will be pitch number 7 coming from Murphy.
Murphy's already had to throw 39 pitches in 2 innings of work, and most of them coming in this inning, as he got through the first 1, 2, 3 all on strikeouts. The 3-2 yet again. Inside for ball 4. Kevin's going to take his base, and the bases will be loaded for the 9-hitter Austin Maisel.
Now batting, the left fielder from Holy Cross, number 8, Austin Maisel.
Seems like just a matter of time before some of these Hyannis pitchers issue a free pass. Murphy, one of the better Hyannis pitchers, who that was only his 10th walk of the summer, but it comes in a very crucial spot with 2 down. He really wanted that punch out to get him out of the inning and preserve him for the 3rd. Bullpen is still empty, though, for Hyannis.
First pitch to Austin Maisel is a breaking ball over the inside part of the plate, strike 1. Maisel, a .346 average, but doesn't have enough registered at bats at only 52 to put him at the top of the team. Only 2 RBIs as well on the summer. The 0-1. Fastball, ground ball towards the left side. That's going to get through into left field. Claunch is going to score. Right behind him comes Moretto. And it's the 3rd and 4th RBIs for Austin Maisel on the summer. Puts the Doors ahead 2-1.
Now batting, the second baseman from Stanford.
Man, the 2 temp guys who are on this team throughout the season, Jackson Coots and Austin Maisel, are really in a lot of ways, kind of some of the unsung heroes. They're kind of coming up in big spots and getting clutch RBIs. It's one of the first times I can remember Maisel up with the bases loaded, 2 down. And again, he doesn't try to do too much. He doesn't try to kill the ball. Just pokes it over to the left side. And Westberg was playing shaded towards the second base bag.
Tawa takes a big swing at strike 1. And when I'm looking at this, 3 singles, all of them to the opposite field.
Yeah.
A couple of them off the end of the bat. Entire Doors lineup this bottom half, not trying to do too much with the baseball, and they're getting a couple soft singles to put them ahead. Here's the 0-1 to Tawa, who struck out looking his first time up to start off the game. Tawa, a .219 average entering this ball game. In game 1, you mentioned it, his first time up, came in to sub in for Hayden Cantrell and went 1 for 1 with a double. This ground ball is going to go towards Westberg, a much easier play as he'll go on to second with it. It's a 6-4 force out to retire the side, but the Commodores jump ahead. They score 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. We'll go to the top of inning number 3. It's now 2-1 in favor of Falmouth on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Top of the third we go from Gov Fuller Field. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korzenowski for the final game of the season that the Falmouth Commodores will be playing against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Falmouth locked into a playoff spot. Hyannis officially eliminated with only 7 wins on the summer. And the Commodores only 2 points away from locking up first place in the division, so with a win tonight, they will have home field advantage until at least the Cape Cod League Championship game if they get that far.
Yeah, a win or a Wareham loss gives them the 1 seed in the West. And it's pretty incredible to believe. Still the fewest games played out of any team in the Western Division and a comfortable lead in first place. This team, especially their winning streak, 11 in a row, really catapulted them in the standings.
First pitch to Jordan Westberg is a breaking ball that misses high. Westberg popped out to second base his first time up, but he's batting .500 against the Doors now on the season. 6 for 12 with 4 RBIs against Falmouth. 3 of those RBIs came in game 1 on 1 swing of the bat. Swings and misses at a low fastball to even up the count. Westy, as they affectionately call him, has easily been the best hitter for Hyannis at .337 entering this one. 1-1 inside fastball and a little too far inside for John Petula's liking. It's the top of the order, Westberg, Fair, and Goodman for Hyannis, who went a collective 0 for 3 in the first inning, but Goodman reached on an error. 2-1. Soft chopper that goes foul. Looked like it hit off his foot.
Hoffman, one of 5 All-Stars on this team. And he deserves it. I mean, just over a 2 ERA. He's come in some big situations, gotten 3 wins, still hasn't been tabbed with a loss all summer.
Since the All-Star break, the Doors have only lost once. 2-2. Ground ball towards short. Kendall with his third opportunity. Throws low. Moretto has to make the scoop, and he comes off the bag, says first base umpire Joe Lasapora. It's another errant throw from Kevin Kendall that will be ruled a hit. But Westberg gets away with one.
Yeah, Kendall deep in the hole, back towards third base. Had a longer throw across his body, and I don't know if he's rushing it or maybe the throw's just a little bit offline.
He's been yanking a couple of these because even the putout that he had,
yeah,
Moretto had to stretch far. So Westberg will take it as he continues to hit well against Falmouth. And Ian Fair, who grounded out to third base, will get another opportunity against Hoffman. First pitch to the righty from Northeastern is taken on the outside corner for strike 1.
How about that? A couple Northeastern Huskies on this Hyannis team. Kyle Murphy, the starting pitcher. Ian Fair, another temporary player, who's had a good summer as well, .368 average.
He's played a ton against the Commodores, it feels like, as well.
Yeah.
Hoffman from the stretch yet again. The 0-1. Line drive into right field. That one's going to get down for a hit in front of Radcliffe. First and second on for Hyannis to start off the third.
And Littleton is warming in the pen, but we know Landry wants Hoffman to finish out this third inning if possible.
Number 23, Hunter Goodman.
He's given up 4 hits. That's by far his highest hit total given up all summer.
It's up to 45 pitches now through 2 full innings and has 3 more outs to get in this third if he wants to put in a good outing for his pitching coach. He'll have to face the heart of the order as well in the Cape leader in average, Hunter Goodman. He's sitting at 35 ribbies. Pardon me, not average, RBIs. Cape leader in average is all the way out at YD.
35 RBIs is something, though. In a summer season, I mean, that is a ton.
That's nearly at an RBI per game pace.
Yeah, and for him, he hasn't started all, 41 games that Hyannis has played, so it is, even better than an RBI game for him.
The 1-0 popped up, and it will drift foul behind home plate. You know, Hoffman would love a ground ball right here. Infield at double play depth. Corners are back as well. Goodman not with a ton of speed, a natural catcher who's playing right field tonight for Hyannis. He caught game 1. A 275 average for the Memphis Tiger. The pitch, breaking ball, cut on and missed. Hoffman left it high, but Goodman still swung through it.
Yeah, that was just a dirty curveball. Sometimes when you see the curveball stay high in the zone, you hold your breath, but I don't know, Hoffman says so much movement, it's really tough to line up.
1-2 the count to Goodman. The pitch, fastball just tapped foul. Looking a little further at Hunter's stats, 7 home runs on the summer. That by far leads the team. And his 35 RBIs are just outpacing everyone else by a long shot. Next 3 guys combined have 1 more RBI than him, as it's Jordan Westberg in second place on the team with 14 ribbies.
Wow.
Goodman has been something else for Hyannis and trying to add to that total with runners on first and second and nobody out. The 1-2 again. Ground ball towards third. This could be 2. Trey's going to step on the third base bag. His throw onto first. Not in time. Hesitated a little bit as he went towards third. Didn't really know where the bag was, but he does get the lead runner, and Hoffman has an out.
Yeah, and I think instinctually Cruz was about to throw to second base, but then he realized, wait, I got to get the lead runner here.
Yeah.
Then he moved over towards third and tapped the bag. Still almost got Goodman, who has sneaky beat out a couple throws now in this game. 5-3 fielder's choice, and then he reached on the E6, but the fact that he was gunning down the line was what rushed the throw from Kevin Kendall over at short.
Jared DeSantelo, who brought home Hyannis' lone run with an RBI single in the first, will now get another chance. Was 2 for his last 14 entering the ball game, but 1 for 1 today. Hoffman's first offering to the FAU Owl is cut on and missed. 83-mile-an-hour breaker that completely bottomed out. DeSantelo, his last 2 games, last 2 at-bats have been excellent. He had 1 at-bat his last game played against Wareham, and it was a 2-run big fly.
Pinch hit as well.
Yep. So 3 RBIs in his last 2 at-bats. Here's the 0-1. Misses below the knees. He's now up to 11 RBIs on the summer, which is good for third on this Hyannis team. Team who we rave about them offensively, but still don't do enough for their struggling pitching staff. 1-1 is ripped into right field. That one's going to find grass in fair territory. Radcliffe has to field it away from the corner. The tying run will come home. They're going to send the potential go-ahead run. Nope, they're going to hold him up at third base. Gassman originally waved him around, then gave him late stop sign. Ian Fair scores the run. Hunter Goodman holds up at third, and Jared DeSantelo has his second RBI in as many at-bats with that double.
There's a reason he's in the cleanup spot with that pinch hit home run against Wareham, and then an RBI single and an RBI double. Great contact right into the corner, basically, out in right field. Long run for Radcliffe, who was shaded more towards center.
It's now the first earned run of the ball game against Logan Hoffman. 2-2. Hyannis out hitting Falmouth 5-3. When they've got runners on base, Hoffman has been struggling. First pitch to the lefty, Hauver, is taken on the outside corner for a strike. Runners both in scoring position now, so no double play is in order. It's pretty much strikeout or bust for Logan if he wants to keep the game tied.
Yeah, and these are going to be the most important 2 outs that he needs to get. He's already north of 50 pitches. His previous high for pitches thrown was 42 in those 3 innings versus Harwich back in the season opener.
The Doors had an ERA right around 2 on their entire 11-game win streak. It's faltered a little bit in the last couple of games.
I mean, it's tough to sustain a 2 ERA, that's for sure.
0-1 misses outside, but we saw in the doubleheader against Bourne Game 2, they allowed 4 runs in 7 innings of work. Yesterday against Bourne, in 9 innings, allowed 5 runs, and then allowed 5 runs in 7 innings against Hyannis in Game 1. That was after seeing 2 weeks of about 2 runs max. Hoffman's 1-1, a fastball up and away.
The numbers that they were putting up during that win streak, because the pitching staff, it takes a team to win 11 games in a row. The hitting did what they needed to do. They had some home runs here and there. The defense was great, but the pitching was just unfreaking believable.
2-1 the count to the cleanup hitter, the 5-hitter Hauver. Fastball just clips the outer black. Great pitch from Hoffman as he fights back to even up the count. Jordan Westberg led off this inning with a single, followed up by a single from Ian Fair. A fielder's choice kept the runners at bay. Then Jared DeSantolo hit an RBI double. Hauver trying to follow up and put Hyannis back in the lead. Hoffman taking his time, and Hauver's going to call for some of his own. Very important pitch right now with Hoffman trying to get through 3 full, needing 2 outs, and with 2 strikes against Trevor. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, bounced foul.
And he loves that curveball as the punch-out pitch, but Hauver just gets a piece of it and stays alive.
Trevor, a .234 hitter. Game 1 was 0 for 2. 2-2 again is popped foul.
Working long at bats against Hoffman. Getting that pitch count up towards 60 now.
He'll earn himself a couple of days off after this start. Doors with 3 straight games against the Katuitt Kettleers. Tomorrow a 9-inning. And then after that, a doubleheader. The 2-2 again. Fastball again fouled away as Cruz looks it over, and Trevor Hauver is really making Hoffman work.
And Cruz jogging into foul territory, hoping that that ball would stay playable just so they can get an out here.
It's been great pitches from Logan, all of them in the strike zone, but Hauver has been right with them. 4th try at 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Looked like a little bit of a breaking ball that cut outside. How about that movement from Logan Hoffman as he gets his 2nd strikeout of the evening and a huge out number 2.
Number 9, Jackson Olsen.
Yeah, and usually you see, it looked like a slider, but usually you see that slider breaking inside, sort of across the body. If it's a lefty, it would break to the outside part of the plate. If it's a righty, it would break to the right part of the plate, but that was a pitch that started on the outside part of the plate and then went even further outside.
Now we're seeing the slow walk out to the mound from pitching coach Mike Landry, and I think Hoffman's day might be done. It is. Right hand out, he's calling for Bradley Littleton as Hoffman gets through 2 2/3 innings of work, but will leave a couple runners on base as we head to break. 2-2 ball game. Still an out to go here in the top of the 3rd. We'll be right back on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com. Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
Call to the bullpen, as we alluded to before the break, will be towards Bradley Littleton, who will make his second appearance on the hill for the Commodores. Coming on in relief of Logan Hoffman, who went 2 2/3 innings, allowed 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned, 2 strikeouts, and is still on the hook for these 2 runners on second and third.
And this is going to be an important couple innings for the Falmouth Commodores and for Bradley Littleton. He only pitched 1 inning against Orleans back on July 25th. That was in game 1 of 2 straight games against the Firebirds last Thursday and Friday. And he looked a little shaky. Gave up 2 hits, walked 1 batter, and had some really hard contact against him. So what I saw from him was he was keeping pitches up in the zone. He was a little, maybe some of those jitters for his first appearance on the summer. The Commodores looking to him in a big spot here in middle relief for just a 7-inning game, hoping to get him through the end of the top of the 5th.
Definitely have to avoid the high pitches against the Harbor Hawks, who have been hitting home runs at a relentless pace the last couple of days. They went back-to-back in game 1 while hitting 3 home runs in a single inning. And then yesterday in their ball game, they went back-to-back against Wareham. Runners on second and third that Littleton has inherited. He'll be pitching from the stretch. That staggered approach with his feet as a first pitch swing from Jackson Olsen is blasted into deep center field. Dunn is at the wall, and this ball's out of here. 3-run home run from Jackson Olsen on the first pitch that Littleton throws all ball game, and the Harbor Hawks take a 5-2 lead.
And that's now the 4th home run for the Harbor Hawks in about a game and a half. Good idea from Olsen. He knows that this is a guy coming in relief in a big spot. He's going to try to throw not a get-me-over pitch, but he's going to try to throw a strike on the first pitch to get ahead in the count. Likely going to be a fastball. Olsen tees it up well. He was watching him during the warm-up pitches, had a good idea for how fast he threw, and squares it up to dead center. That's one of the longest home runs we've seen here at Gov Fuller Field.
It's a down-the-middle fastball that Olsen took for a ride for his first home run of the summer, as now the count is 1-1 to Adam Hackenberg. 2 of those 3 runs will be tagged to Logan Hoffman, whose final line ends with him allowing 4 runs, 3 of them earned. Fastball on the outside half, fouled away. So 1 earned run charged against Bradley Littleton, and the Harbor Hawks lead by 3. Again, they've got a potent lineup. The long ball has been their friend recently, and Jackson Olsen followed up their performance. 1-2. Fly ball, but foul.
Base is clear. You just got to reset if you're Littleton. Seems like that's what he's doing with 2 quick strikes fired to Hackenberg. Ground out victim back in the 2nd inning.
Hackenberg batting 186. A little bit lower after the ground out. 1-2 again. Just misses off the outside edge of the plate. 4 hits on this inning for Hyannis. 2 of them singles, 1 a double, and 1 a home run. 2-2. High fly ball that will stay relatively close to the infield as Tim Tawa is camped underneath it, and he'll make the catch a couple steps onto the outfield grass in right field. Pop out to second base caps off an eventful inning as Hyannis scores 4 runs on 4 hits. No errors against the Commodores and nobody left on base. We'll go to the bottom of inning number 3. It's now a 3-run lead in favor of Hyannis.
Redshirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day. Like the new short rib tacos or New England fried shrimp. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations. Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care.
Commodores with a little ground to make up as we begin the bottom of the third inning. They find themselves trailing by 3 to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, a team that has not beaten many this season. Only 7 wins for Hyannis, one of them coming against the Falmouth Commodores. Doors 3-1-1 against the Hawks, and a doubleheader against Hyannis here at the end of the season. You're really looking to pour on some wins. They won game 1, but not looking so hot in game 2 as the pitching has faltered a little bit.
Yeah, pitching's faltered a little bit, but, I mean, this is a rotation that just does not get a break.
Foul ball up and caught by Ian Fair at first base. I thought that one was going to get over his head, but again, his height fools me as he snags it for out number 1.
This is now the 5th game for the Commodores in just 3 days. They'll have to play 3 in a row against the Kettleers in the next 2 days as well. So Mike Landry's got his hands full, and that's something that Katie Florio talked to the pitching coach about quite a bit. Just hope that those arms are rested come playoff time. That's why I don't think they're going to be throwing Majinski, Aleman, and probably Nastrini too much for the next 5 games. You'll probably need to throw them for an inning or 2 if they start, but you're definitely not pushing them 4 or 5 innings.
1-0 is a breaking ball over the middle of the plate to Zach DeLoach. Top of the order for Falmouth, a combined 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. DeLoach has a strikeout himself in his 1AB. The 1-1 fouls it off the leg of the catcher Hackenberg. 0 for 5. How about Trey Cruz? Bring him in. Top 4 in this lineup. 0 for 6. Was the mid-bottom of the order that got things going in inning number 2. 2 runs plated off an Austin Maisel single. Kyle Murphy has been efficient so far. Trying to keep it that way as the 1-2 is chopped towards second base. Servideo gets there in a heartbeat. His throw on to first is a step ahead of Zach DeLoach, and there are 2 outs in the 3rd.
It's a much tougher play than it looks. Servideo doing a really nice job moving over to his right quickly on a couple side steps. That's a hard hit ground ball that can get out of the infield in a hurry if Servideo doesn't get there. He fields it at his gut and then takes his time on the throw over.
Trey Cruz will now be the hitter with nobody on and 2 outs. He grounded out to 3rd his last time up. Trey working on a 5-game hitting streak. He's been steadily bringing that average even further up as he swings first pitch, pops it into shallow center field. Rowdy Jordan coming on, and a near collision between him and his teammate from Mississippi State, Jordan Westberg, but it's Westberg who comes down with it. Pop out to the shortstop, and another 1-2-3 inning worked by Kyle Murphy. He preserves the 5-2 lead for Hyannis as he'll come back up to the plate for the top of the 4th on the other end of this commercial break on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options. Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Top 4 set to begin from Gov Fuller Field. Danny LaRose joined alongside David Korzenowski as the Commodores try to make it back-to-back wins in a day-night doubleheader against the Harbor Hawks, but right now trailing the Hawks 5-2. And only a couple innings left. Again, this is a 7-inning game because of the doubleheader. And Kyle Murphy, the starter for Hyannis, has been pretty good. A 1-2-3 first and a 1-2-3 third. Only trouble he's found himself in was in the second. Doors, meanwhile, had a 1-2-3 second inning, but allowed a run in the first and 4 in the third, thanks to a 3-run home run from Jackson Olsen. It'll be 8-9-1 in the Hyannis order. Rowdy Jordan, the 8-hitter, will get his second AB. He popped out to third his first time up. Watches a first pitch breaking ball hit the inside corner for strike one. Jordan, a batting average just below 130. Center fielder from Mississippi State has struggled this summer, but he pummels one into center field. Blake Dunn trots back a couple steps and will come down with it. Hard contact from Jordan, but not enough mustard on it.
And that's the kind of contact we've seen Littleton give up. He had some pop flyouts against Orleans, and then obviously the 3-run home run, which is the difference in the game right now. Doesn't blow you away with the velocity, so they can time him up pretty well.
Anthony Servideo was K'd up on only 3 pitches to end the second inning against Logan Hoffman, as another strike comes over the middle part of the plate to Servideo. Batting in the 9-hole with his struggles, 147 average entering the ball game. The 0-1. Inside, swung on and missed. Seems like these pitchers are at their best against Servideo.
This is true. He has had a tough summer. There's no denying that.
He's faced 5 pitches in the ball game. All of them have been strikes. Littleton trying to make it 6. His 0-2. Breaking ball just a hair above the letters. Nice crowd at Gov Fuller Field on this Monday evening. Host family appreciation night. Littleton's 1-2. Line drive right over towards Kevin Kendall at short. He catches it for the second out of the inning. Love host family appreciation night.
We do love that.
You get to see how these players have made connections with, you know, these adults that they've been living with and the kids they have as well. You know, sometimes they have little ones and the players show up and make long bonds that can last a lifetime. And you get to see that on display. Got a nice little ceremony before the game. They got honored. Now trying to see the boys that they've hosted all summer long come away with a victory. Swing and a miss on a big breaking ball. Jordan Westberg falls behind 0-1.
Yeah, those families open up their homes to Division I and sometimes 2 and 3 JUCO college baseball players for a whole summer. Give them food, bed.
0-1. Nice frame job by Claunch as that looked a little outside. And as we said in the PA announcer when he was introducing it, it's more than just food and a bed. It's a loving home.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They need some of that support, though.
100%.
Some familial sensibility.
Wow. That's quite the phrase.
I mean, you're away from your family.
No, seriously,
you're
yeah.
thrown into a new family dynamic, and if it's uncomfortable, it can probably bring down a lot of your mood and maybe even your play.
I asked Hayden Cantrell, I was like, what's your host family like? He was like, they are freaking awesome.
He loves them.
He loves them.
1-2 is a fastball that's clocked out into left field, falling fast, but Maisel with plenty of speed loses the hat as always, and it's a 1-2-3 inning worked by Brad Littleton in the 4th. We'll go to the home half of the 4th, still 5-2 in favor of the Harbor Hawks. We'll keep it right here as it's Katie Florio time.
It is Katie Florio time.
It's mid-4th. We always love to bring in Katie, the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, who's been doing a great job all summer.
She has been doing a great job. I think this might be the first time we're having a coach interview while the Commodores are losing.
That's true. That's
Could be
true.
wrong.
We brought in the coach interviews just recently. The Doors have been very successful, but now we'll get to hear Coach Trundy's thoughts on them losing. Katie, take it away.
Even by a roll down the hill, which gets you an automatic prize. You can't win if you don't play. We have over a dozen wonderful prizes generously donated by our local merchants.
Katie.
Thanks, guys. And Coach, a really unusual schedule today. What was the mentality to keep the focus and routine?
This sounds really repetitive, but just go out and have fun and compete. And our guys have done a good job. I mean, they've done a good job all year long. And to be honest, I think these guys love spending time with each other. So today's certainly been a great opportunity to do that.
We're nearing the end of a very jam-packed month of baseball. How would you describe where your guys are at, both physically and mentally, right now?
Well, I mean, I think I'm sure they're a little bit tired, but I think they've found a way to fight through it and learned how to handle things. And most importantly, like I said, they've been able to pick each other up by having fun every day. And, this team, if they get behind, they battle back. And, they find ways, like I said, to be able to compete each and every night.
Thank you, Coach. Guys, back to you.
Thanks very much, Katie, and thank you to Coach Trundy as well, as they're going to have to battle back a little bit in this ball game, trailing by 3, but still having fun. Maybe not as much as Game 1 when they put up an 8 spot before Hyannis was able to respond. As the first pitch of the bottom of the 4th inning is a curveball on the inside corner to Troy Clonch. Still Kyle Murphy on the hill. He's worked through 3 complete innings, has allowed a couple runs on 3 hits, but he's been fine. 0-1, another curveball that's bounced foul.
Clonch had the first hit of the game for the Commodores as well as he slapped one into right field.
He came around to score on an Austin Maisel single. The pitch, fastball up and in. It was about the 3rd or 4th inning of work that we saw from Murphy in one of his previous outings against the Commodores, where he started to fall apart a little bit. I'm sure the Doors would love to see that right here. Falls onto them. 1-2, down in the dirt.
Yeah, so in his start versus Falmouth back in early July, he gave up a run in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and 2 in the 5th before he got the yank after 4 1/3 innings.
His 2-2 to Troy. Downstairs yet again, so 0-2 becomes 3-2 as Clonch is putting together a nice AB.
And one of the reasons he's been more successful, than usual, and then some of the other Hyannis pitchers is he's not given up any walks. I mean, he's only walked one batter in this game.
The 3-2, ground ball towards short. Westberg is there, placed it on an awkward hop, but his throw onto first is in time. So Murphy avoids the walk with a nice inside pitch that Troy Clonch couldn't really extend the hands on, and it's 1 up and 1 down.
Good things happen when you throw strikes. I've heard it from so many pitchers who've come up here in the booth. It's such a key, especially on Cape Cod wooden bats. It's tougher to hit. Even later in the season when these guys find their power, you got to trust your defense and just throw it in the strike zone. That's what Murphy's really done here in this game.
Barron Radcliffe, who's 0 for 1 after a cannon of a fly ball to center field was caught right against the wall by Rowdy Jordan. Takes strike number 1 on the inner half. Murphy been consistently hitting 90 on the gun with his fastball. His breaking ball around 76, so he spices up the speeds pretty well. The 0-1 to the big lefty is taken down and away.
And this was the bottom of the order that was seeing the ball really well against Murphy. Radcliffe pulled a couple foul balls before flying out to deep, deep center.
Top of the order, 1 through 4, a combined 0 for 8. Bottom of the order, meanwhile, starting with Clonch. So 5 through 9, collected 3 hits. The 2-1, swing and a miss. Sloppy swing on a down and in breaking ball, and Barron is not proud of himself for that one.
Yeah, he didn't like that one. Should have just laid off, and he knows it.
Radcliffe went 1 for 3 in game 1 with a double and a run scored. Murphy's 2-2. A fastball up in the zone that's swung on and missed. Strike 3. How about this from Kyle Murphy? 6 straight retired, and he is looking as good as he has all summer.
Number 31, Steven Moretto.
It's a great sign for him, and Radcliffe extremely frustrated with himself after that at-bat. Didn't like strikes 2 and 3 that he swung at, both of them. Off speed bouncing in the dirt for strike 2, and then the high fastball that rose as it came across the plate. No chance to make contact unless you bring the hands up a ton.
First pitch to Steven Moretto is pounded into the dirt, over towards third base. An error is made, and then over at shortstop, Westberg's following it up. Can't get the ball onto first in time. Third baseman Jackson Olsen let it squeak through his legs, bought Moretto enough time to reach first base safely.
Yeah, that's ruled an error on Jackson Olsen. Went right off the palm of his glove and then scooted in between his legs. Jordan Westberg, I should say, there for some backup, but no chance to make the play after Olsen basically killed that ground ball.
Kevin Kendall walked in his first plate appearance, was stranded on second base. He'll have another chance with 2 outs and a runner on. First pitch he sees from Murphy in this AB is taken off the plate. Kendall had an error himself that eventually plated a run for Hyannis back in the first inning. Pickoff move over to first. Moretto a little lazy getting back, but he does dive into the bag in time. Right now, the error that Kendall committed is not really on top of mind with the Doors trailing by 3 runs. 1-0 is a line drive into right field, and he's got another hit for the day. Moretto's going to go first to third. The throw coming in from right is a bullet, and it goes away from the third baseman, Jackson Olsen. Great backup, though, by Murphy to make sure that Moretto couldn't take home. Kendall will nab second base thanks to the errant throw, and there are 2 runners in scoring position.
Great hit by Kendall. Moretto perhaps a little bit greedy, trying to stretch it into third base, goes with a head-first slide, and he was dead to rights on an accurate throw from Hunter Goodman, but he caught a break. And I liked what you pointed out at the end. That's unbelievable by Kyle Murphy. You see sometimes these pitchers, when they get shellacked, a little bit lazy, backing up throws, but that's exactly what you're taught to do because otherwise that scores a run.
That would have gone immediately into the bullpen, would have been a free base for both runners. Moretto would have crossed home, and Kendall would have gotten a third. Instead, they're both in scoring position for Austin Maisel. He had a couple runners on base with 2 outs back in the second inning. Poked a single just past the diving glove of Jordan Westberg into left field for 2 RBIs. Put the Doors ahead 2-1 at the time. Could use another hit from him. The 1-0 dives down and in. Friendly hitters count to the Holy Cross Crusader.
And we saw an error eat up the Commodores in the first inning. Hunter Goodman reached on an error, came around to score. Moretto hoping similar luck here for Falmouth in the bottom of the 4th.
2-0 to Austin is chopped foul. Ryan Eiley, the birthday boy, plays it off of his fingertips.
Got to have that one, Coach. High hop, but it went off the hand, so that's a E first base coach.
Not on his birthday.
Sorry.
Big number 25 for Coach Eiley.
That caught me by surprise. It shouldn't have because he graduated college in like 2016, but I thought he was older.
It's the beard, I think, gets us.
The Australian accent maybe too.
Quote unquote. 2-1 to Maisel, down again, 3-1. Maisel now 4 for his last 11. Like Jackson Coots, the 2 remaining temporary players have been red hot recently. Has a trio of RBIs in his last few games played to boot. Murphy from the stretch, kicks and fires the 3-1. It's a fastball. Maisel was right on it. Fouls it away, and he knows that he just missed one.
Yeah, that was one of the better pitches he's going to see on 3-1. He had the green light, but just underneath it. And now Murphy can do pretty much anything here. Try to keep it off speed, maybe get a swing and a miss, keep it low in the zone.
Huge pitch coming up. Full count. Runners on second and third, 2 outs in the 4th. The payoff pitch. Inside, ball 4. Maisel's going to take his base, and it's back to the top of the order with 3 men on.
And both walks from Murphy load the bases. Walk to Kevin Kendall in the 2nd. Put Claunch at 3rd, Moretto at 2nd, and Kendall at 1st. Here, first base was open, so the walk just puts Maisel towards Ryan Eiley. But now base is juiced for Tim Tawa, who had a double in game 1 of the doubleheader in his pinch hit appearance.
So far, he's 0 for 2 today. First pitch is a 12-6 curveball that landed about the ankles, but is still called a strike by John Petula.
Yeah, and I think Tawa also thought that was inside. He's one of those guys who's very far in the batter's box, only a few inches off the plate.
He struck out looking in his first at-bat, so he knows the strike zone from Petula as the 0-1 is high and he lays off. Tawa only 6 RBIs on the summer. Only 1 RBI in his last 7 games played, so it's been a while. He's got the bases juiced right here with 2 outs. 1-1, huge cut on an 86-mile-an-hour heater. Can't connect.
And that was the same pitch he just laid off with that check swing. I was about to say how good of a take it was because the difference between 0-2 and 1-1 is huge. That was another pitch that was high in the zone, and the difference between 2-1 and 1-2 is also big, especially with 2 outs and the bases loaded.
Here's the 1-2 offering from Murphy. It's a breaking ball that is clubbed into center field, and it's going to get down in front of Jordan for a hit. Moretto's going to score. Right behind him is Kendall. Just like that, 5-4 ball game after Tawa's 2 RBIs.
Man, this game is only going to go 7 innings, but it's going to have a very high score. Already 5-4 through just 4 innings. And the Doors still want more here in the 4th. That's great hitting from Tim Tawa. He didn't like the first strike against him. He swung at a pitch he knows he shouldn't have for strike 2, but then he has great 2-strike hitting, puts it back up the middle. Jordan, again, similar play with Maisel back in the 1st. He could have dove for it, but decided to take the safer way out. Probably a smart move.
And for Tawa, that's a huge RBI. Racks up 7 and 8 in his first RBIs in quite some time. Blake Dunn lays down a bunt, and it is going to be caught barehanded behind home plate by Adam Hackenberg. How about that? Looking for a drag bunt hit, but it has some backspin to it. Rolls right back towards the catcher, and he squeezes it with his 2 fingers. Blake Dunn is a pop-out victim for the 2nd time in a row, this time to the catcher, but the Doors score 2 runs thanks to 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. 5-4 ball game as we enter the top of the 5th inning, and Intern Appreciation Week will continue when we come back.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like the new short rib tacos or New England fried shrimp. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
We promised you that Intern Appreciation Week would continue, and we delivered. Danny LaRose, David Korsanowski on the end. Haley Blitch, our social media manager, is in between us. Haley, welcome to the broadcast booth.
Thanks for having me. I've waited a whole year for this.
This is her 2nd time being featured in the booth, as last year we put you on into the broadcast booth to talk about when you were the photographer. We are the 3 returners.
I was just going to say that. 3
team.
returners from 2018.
Yes. Haley was the photographer last year. She did a fantastic job. We brought her on. We allowed her to do play-by-play.
On like a 2 RBI double, I'm
She
pretty
saw
sure.
1 pitch,
Cameron Cannon.
Cannon hit an RBI double. So you don't want to do it again?
Maybe tomorrow.
First pitch is a strike from Littleton to Ian Fair. Haley, tell us a little bit about your job. You're in a new role, social media coordinator.
So it's kind of similar to last summer's, but now there's a separate position for it. I'm my social media manager coordinator. I don't really know the whole full name
Social
for it, but
media guru? What's the one that you wanted?
Social media mastermind. Okay,
Yes.
that's what I'm going with. So, in my social media mastermind job, I run our Twitter, our Instagram, Facebook, anything else that you can think of. I live tweet the game, so hopefully nothing too crazy happens here. And yeah, so I did a little bit of it last year, like more Instagram than Twitter, but now it is my control, and I get a lot of help from our videographer and photographer this summer.
So if you see Haley standing right near the dugout and her head just deep in her phone, she is paying attention to the game. We promise.
Promise.
1-2 now the count to Ian Fair, who had a single and a run scored in his last at-bat. Littleton rocks and fires. His pitch clubbed into left field. That one's going to drop just foul.
So you've had a lot of tweets. You've had a lot of posts. You've had a lot of stories, Facebook posts. You've been everywhere. Graphics.
Yes.
What has been one tweet, Instagram post, story that like you're very proud of? Any that when you just sent the post button, you were just like,
I have an idea.
You were just like, that one was really good.
So this wasn't all of my idea, but I got a nice, what's the word? Inspiration from the San Francisco Giants. They did this Instagram story of their starting lineup, but instead of their starting lineup names, they did the back of their helmets. So I thought to give it a little bit more personalization with our guys, I remember Zach Brewster, I took all of their gloves, and then we had obviously the DH. I took a picture of his bat, so that was really cool. I think that was probably my favorite. I like to be pretty funny on our Twitter as much as I can.
Yeah, the story was cool. You had a 3x3 grid of all of their gloves and bats.
And you tagged all of them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the Caleb Worcester graphic you
Oh,
made.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We did the, like 4 different images, laid them over each other, and it was...
Fly ball into shallow left center field. Maisel gives chase. Loses the hat, I gotta say it, and he makes the catch.
It was one of my favorite graphics. Even UConn baseball reused it a few times, so that was really, really special for me.
It was a great graphic, and the caption, it was Caleb Worcester.
Oh, yeah.
The caption was, on our worst behavior.
Yeah.
Drake lyric, we love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to Worst Behavior on repeat for like 3 days after that.
As you should.
Yes. And the more we talk about these graphics, and the way you explain it, where you're like, I have to layer the pictures and do all this other stuff, and you're using Photoshop. You're a Photoshop wizard at this point, putting these templates around, and you pump out some of these graphics immediately as the first pitch is fouled off to Hunter Goodman. I mean, even today, I wasn't expecting you to have the lineup graphic for us when we had such a quick turnaround. Didn't get the lineups until 30 minutes before game time. Still had it for us, and it's almost like an art form. I think it is kind of like, you know, art.
It really is. I mean, I spent most of the spring semester working on these graphics. Don't tell my parents. I definitely did my homework. But it really does take a long time. But thankfully, I worked on those before, and then now I just have some templates ready, and they're just ready to go. But things like the all-star graphics or starting pitching graphics or stuff like that, it's kind of just whatever comes off my head.
Right.
And can you talk to us about what you do at school and where you go and a little bit more bio stuff?
I go to Florida State University, the best of the ACC. As I sit next to 2 ACC rivals. But I work for their baseball team. I work for their athletics, actually. So mainly the baseball team, though. I get to help run their social media. So I did a lot of the stories this past semester. I even got to go to like a UF away game and the ACC tournament. Getting to learn a lot more like from our SID through that. And then I tend to write some stuff, too, about FSU athletics.
Littleton's 1-2 is a slider swung on and missed, and Goodman is retired for the first time in this ball game. Last year you wore 2 hats because you were the team photographer, had to worry about that, but also you pretty much became the social media manager. It was almost instantaneous where we realized Haley's the best at live tweeting. She's the only one who knows how to make graphics. She knows Instagram very well. Is it a relief that you only have to work the one job this year? Because it is, I mean, you might think social media manager, is that really, it is a huge, huge load.
It really is. I'm a little nervous missing just this inning, but luckily not much is going on. Last year, whenever I had to take photos, so my head is literally in a camera watching through this tiny lens. And then on top of that, I also had to tweet and post on Instagram what was going on too. So it's a huge relief to not have to do both. I still, like, taking photos is probably one of my most favorite things to do. So I do miss that most games, but Megan Murphy, our photographer, does such a great job. She makes my life a breeze.
And you've done a little bit of interviewing as well. Talk to us about that.
Oh, yeah. So I don't really know where the dream job lies right now. Really would love to be a sideline reporter, but this summer I've followed around, shadowed our sideline reporter, Katie, through multiple games. She's let me done so many interviews, which is so kind, and I've really learned so much. And honestly, I think compared to last year to what I've done this year is completely different, much better.
We can attest to that as well. You're much more confident, and you've done a great job this year at that as well.
Thank you.
0-2 is swung on and missed, and Jared DeSantelo, who is 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs, goes down swinging to end the 5th inning. A 1-2-3 inning, Haley. We are sorry that you...
I don't have to leave.
We're sorry that you could only get a couple of
But
with
we
us.
aren't sorry because then your tweets are all up to date. You didn't miss anything.
True. All I have to say is 1, 2, 3 innings.
Didn't miss a thing. And for the viewers, you have now seen every single member of our broadcast crew on the broadcast at some point. Me and David every day. Maxwell Trink, our producer, has gotten a chance at play-by-play. Severin Lavin, our videographer. Katie Flory, obviously our sideline reporter. Megan was on the broadcast. Now Haley. So you've seen all of us, and now you can judge all of us.
And follow on social media if you don't.
Yes.
Because Haley will get mad at you if you don't.
We're so close to 6,000. Come on. Help me out. Thank you guys for having me.
End of the top of the 5th. We'll be right back.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Welcome back into the broadcast booth as we've got another one of our interns. You are the MLB liaison.
I sure am.
Yeah.
Ben Gavoni.
Yes, sir.
Not Giovanni.
Nope, not Giovanni either.
Okay.
Ben Gavoni goes to Boston College, and he's joining us for the bottom of the 5th inning. And tell us a little bit about what you do as the MLB liaison, because we've heard from general manager interns, but MLB liaison is a similar position, but different and very important in its own role as Zach DeLoach takes a first pitch strike.
Yeah, so I do a little bit of everything, I guess. A lot of pregame communications, so one of my main tasks is getting the starting pitching matchup for the next day.
DeLoach crushes one into right field. That one's going to be down for a hit and roll up the first base line into the corner. DeLoach hits second. He's going to round it for 3. The cutoff comes into second. Servidio's throw to third. Not in time. Leadoff triple off the bat of Zach DeLoach, and the 3-hitter is on third base to kick us off.
Let's go, baby.
Was that one pitch a triple? That was the first pitch of the at-bat.
No, that was the second pitch. Go tell some scouts about that.
I sure will. We have one here tonight, not to brag.
One?
Yeah, it's terrible. I don't know why nobody's here tonight. But to go back to your question, so one of the things I'm tasked with is getting the starting pitching matchup. As David knows, he's one of the people who gets it every day.
Yes, sir.
Those are my good morning texts from David.
Yeah, so I do that. Batting practice, we do blast motion. So if you see me out there with little sensors on the end of guys' bats, we collect a lot of data that MLB teams use to help evaluate guys. So I'm in charge of putting those on and then syncing them up every day.
So you have access to all of that?
I do. And then during games, I'm with the scouts, answering questions. Most of it's pregame and postgame. I get random texts a lot from random numbers. Hey, I'm so-and-so with whatever club, and I want to know who's starting in this game. You know, what's up with this player? Is he staying? Is he leaving? Blah, blah, blah.
Sweet.
Who do you get of these players who gets the most questions as Trey Cruz chops one towards second base? Servideo playing in on the grass will flip it onto first base, and DeLoach has to stay put. So Cruz can't get the run home, but of these players, who gets the most questions from the scouts?
I think DeLoach has definitely been a hot name, especially he didn't have the greatest college season, so coming up here and absolutely crushing it, they're intrigued by him for sure. And then I think Franco, just size alone almost dictates that a little bit. They want to know, everything about him. They see him doing 50-50 when he's not even on the mound, and they're like, tell me more about him on the mound, but also just what is this guy actually like? 'Cause I think he draws a lot of attention naturally just in how he carries himself.
0-1 now the count to Troy Claunch, who's 1 for 2. DeLoach still standing on third base as he adds to his ridiculous summer. I'm sure you'll get a couple scouts texting you about that. 0-1 to Troy. Back through the middle. This is going to enter center field, and a base hit for Troy Claunch, his second of the ball game, his first RBI. This game's tied at 5.
And Kyle Murphy's still on the bump. This is the furthest he's ever gone, tied with his last start against Falmouth. Went 4 1/3, gave up 4 earned runs. He's on pretty much the same exact pace in this game, and that's going to bring a quick visit from Chad Gassman.
This might be the end of the road for Murphy, who has gone 4 1/3 innings, has allowed 5 hits, now has a runner on 5 runs, now has a runner on first base, and that will be it as Gassman waves towards the bullpen. They're going to bring in another righty before Baron Radcliffe comes up to the plate. We'll bring it back into the booth and get to talk a little bit more with Ben. So we're talking about your job here. How about some of the stuff you do at school and what you're looking to do maybe in the future, applying this internship with what you study?
Yeah, so at school I'm a student manager for BC Baseball. it's a little bit different than what I do here. What I do at school is a lot more of like prep work. I do a lot of charts for the coaches, stuff like that. Stuff that actually when Will Hawks, who's now the bullpen coach, actually when he came here, that was an area that he was looking to get into. So I showed him a lot of the charts that I do that he now does for the Commodores. But yeah, no, I think between the two, it's been a good blend of experiences here. It's been a lot more social. With BC, it's a lot more of just grinding out work. We play, roughly 3 opponents a week between 2 midweek games and a weekend series. So there, it's all about cranking out as much information and doing what we got to do to prepare for series. And here, it's a little bit more laid back, and it's a little bit more of creating relationships and that sort of thing.
Right. So at BC, you get to see a couple guys from the Cape. Cody Morissette comes to mind, who plays out for Bourne. You get to talk to them, and do you know them pretty well?
Depends on the guy. So
okay.
BC actually had 2 All-Stars, Cape League All-Stars this year, Cody Morissette and Bourne, and then Chris Galland in Harwich. I know Chris Galland pretty well. I've never met Cody Morissette.
Really? As a manager, you never met him?
I'm not usually in the dugout. That's the thing. I do a lot of homework for these guys, and the coaches know because they see it, but a lot of the players honestly probably don't know I exist.
You're the unsung hero of ACC baseball. Honestly, it's a thankless job. But you do it. Tyler Drabek's going to be the new pitcher, David.
Yeah, he wears number 20, kind of threw us for a loop. He's usually number 11 for Hyannis. 7.56 ERA on the summer, an 0-1 record. He's pitched against Falmouth twice as well, went an inning and 2/3. He's relieved Murphy both times that we've seen him. Inning and 2/3 on July 9th, gave up 1 earned run. 2/3 of an inning on July 15th, gave up 1 earned run in 2/3 of an inning. He's a right-hander from Kent State.
Pitching change has allowed us to get a longer conversation in with Ben Govoni, our MLB scout liaison. You go to BC, you're here on the Cape. Have you been to the Cape before, you local guy?
I live on Cape Cod, yeah.
Okay.
I grew up in Sandwich, so
there you go.
Very easy for me.
Go to a lot of Commodores games as a kid?
It was a mix between actually Bourne and YD. So
interesting.
My uncle pitched for YD like 25, 30 years ago, and so I kind of grew up a YD fan. We go to a few games a year, do the whole donut burger thing. And then Bourne is the closest one to my house, so occasionally just buzz up the street. It's about 10, 15 minutes away. I think last summer was the first time I ever came to Gov Fuller Field. Really.
What I was going to ask, because we know that you, like Becca LaJoy, who worked out in Orleans last summer, you were also with a different team.
I was with Bourne last summer, yeah.
Yeah, so what did you do there, and what prompted the shift to Falmouth?
So there I was a mix of scoreboard operator and PA announcer. Obviously I'm doing something very different here.
Sure.
What prompted the switch, honestly, mainly was opportunity. So I've known Chris Fitzgerald, our new GM, for about 5-ish years. And so when he told me he was getting the job, he basically said, hey, do you want to come with me? And I wouldn't have minded staying in Bourne, but I basically reached out to the people at Bourne and Chris, and I said, this is what I want to do. I want to be an MLB liaison next summer. I'm going to be, going into my senior year. I just want to move on from what I've been doing. I announce a lot of high school games, so, I can announce for sure, but that's not what I want to do as like a career. So. Sure. I reached out to both of them, and Bourne basically just didn't get back to me in time, and Chris pretty quickly said, the job's yours if you want it. And so
that's awesome.
I hopped on the opportunity. I was here for a lot of the playoff games last season. I really like the whole community aspect that's here. It's something that I don't think a lot of Cape League places, including Bourne, doesn't quite have what we have here. A lot of opportunities for kids, families. It feels like people really like coming to Commodores games, and there's a lot going on as far as like the fan experience.
Sure.
So I wanted to join something like this, and it appears I lucked out given the way this team's going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tyler Drabek enters the ball game, throws 5 straight balls, 1 a walk to Barron Radcliffe, and then allows Clonch and Radcliffe to advance into scoring position on a wild pitch. Count 1-0 to Stephen Moretto, who's reached base twice, a single and an E5. as he shoots one into right center field. This will stay up for Rowdy Jordan to make the catch. Tagging up from third is Claunch. The throw will go to third, and the go-ahead run comes home for the Commodores. They now lead 6-5 thanks to the sacrifice fly off the bat of Steven Moretto.
Doesn't it always feel like in these close games Falmouth is going to pull it out?
Yeah.
They are just relentless, it seems. Never give up.
What has impressed you the most about this team? What the heck?
Are they calling him out at third? He didn't. Must be saying that Claunch didn't tag up in time. They appealed.
So they're saying it's a double play.
Yeah, they appealed down to third base, and the ruling from third base umpire John DiGirolamo is that Claunch took off from the bag too early, and everybody on the Falmouth side is just, hands on their hips, confused at what's happening. Brett Becker, his hands up. Coach Ryan Eiley looks confused. Now Jeff Trundy is going to slowly walk out onto the field and have a discussion with the third base umpire, as this is a wacky turn of events.
Yeah, it's not often that we see Jeff Trundy coming out of the dugout, but he's clearly not happy with that call. Maybe we'll, what do you think, step aside and try to sort this out?
We'll step aside. Hopefully we can come back and it'll be the same inning and we'll have Ben Gavoni back on. But as of right now, it looks
Never
like
leaving.
Haley said the same thing. We'll just get 4 headsets.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Ben.
Yeah, thanks so
and
much,
best of luck
Ben.
the rest of the summer.
Ben Gavoni, BC Eagle during his spring and fall semesters, but a Falmouth Commodore at heart during the summer. Ben, thanks so much for joining us on the broadcast.
Yes, sirs.
We'll be right back.
Redshirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official bat and glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Crazy course of events throughout the last half inning. Looked like the Doors had taken a 6-5 lead off a sacrifice fly from Steven Moretto, but the ruling is that Troy Claunch, the runner at third, left too early. He's called out. It's a double play. Game will be tied at 5 as we enter the top of the 6th inning. Austin Langworthy will be the new pitcher. Big shout out to all of the interns who've been able to bring into the broadcast booth throughout this game. Ben Gavoni, the latest one. Right before him was Haley Blitch. David's looking at the replay. What's it looking like?
Terrible call.
Oh,
I'm pulling it up right now. You can take a look too.
So this is now back-to-back games where umpires have messed up the
You
Doors.
watch Claunch, I'll watch center fielder. Got it.
Yeah, he left right on the money. Left right as it was squeezed. That's why the Doors were so incredulous to the call. Back-to-back games in which a third base umpire has cost the Commodores. Yesterday it was Rick Emerson who said that a foul ball was actually a home run. Tonight, it's John DiGirolamo saying that Troy Claunch left too early to keep the game tied at 5. First pitch is off speed to Trevor Hauber, too far inside. Langworthy has seen a ton of appearances now. Not a ton of appearances on the whole, but a ton of appearances within the last couple of days.
Yeah, and this is a guy who played left field in game number 1 of the doubleheader against Hyannis just earlier today, but has made 2 appearances, both recently.
3 straight days where he's been on the hill. 27th of July against Bourne, 28th of July at Bourne, and now the 29th against Hyannis. His 2-1 to Hauber is shot towards short. Kevin Kendall's throw on to first is in time. 6-3 put out to start off the top of the 6th inning. Jackson Olsen is the big man for the Hyannis Harbor Hawks in this ball game. 1 for 2, but his last time up hit a 3-run home run that put Hyannis ahead 5-2. Since then, Falmouth has scored 4 unanswered to tie up the ball game. Langworthy, a two-way player at Florida who plays mostly in the outfield, fires a first pitch outside. Olson from Hartford University batting .240. The 1-0, same spot, 2-0.
And I think they want just 1 inning out of Langworthy here in the 6th, then they can go to Brixey in the 7th.
He misses too far inside to make the count 3 balls and no strikes. Saw Bradley Littleton last couple of innings. He was efficient after letting up the home run. For him, 2 1/3 innings of work, 1 hit, 1 run, it was earned. 2 strikeouts, worked a 1-2-3 fifth. Fastball right down Broadway for strike number 2, works the count full.
Langworthy gave up a solo shot yesterday.
Strike 3 on the inside corner. Breaking ball from Austin Langworthy. I don't know what Jackson Olson was looking at. That was a juicy pitch. And Lang's got a quick 2 outs.
Yeah, he just kind of gets out there and hucks it. It's like he's playing catch. You know, he really doesn't try to do too much. It's clear that pitching maybe isn't his first position, but he just throws it across the plate and gets it done that way.
Virginia native Adam Hackenberg shoots one over towards short, and it's another 6-3 putout in the 6th inning. A couple of ground outs to short, sandwiched around a looking strikeout, works a 1-2-3 inning in favor of Austin Langworthy. 10 straight Harbor Hawks have been retired in a row, and we'll head to the bottom of the 6th inning, tied up at 5 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Bottom of the 6th inning set to begin with the Commodores being led off by Kevin Kendall, followed by Austin Maisel, then the top of the lineup in Tim Tawa to try to squeak past another run against Hyannis. It's 5-5. The Doors looked like they took a 1-run lead entering the 6th, but instead it was called off, and now they'll have to work back from scratch in a tie ball game.
Yeah, that was a bummer. Troy Klunch left right when the center fielder Rowdy Jordan caught it, immediately tagged up, took what the Doors thought was the lead, but they ruled him out on the early tag, and that was a inning-ending double play on the umpire's call down at third. Not what the Doors wanted, but it's basically the best of an inning and a half right now, and you get a couple chances if you're Falmouth to score the winning run.
How about the final third of this batting order? Stephen Moretto, Kevin Kendall, Austin Maisel. As the first pitch of the inning from Drabick is going to be a fastball that swung on and missed. But Moretto had reached base 2 times on a single and an error. Looked like he had a sacrifice fly his 3rd time up. Kevin Kendall has reached base twice with a walk and a single. Austin Maisel behind him, a 2 RBI single and a walk. So they've reached base a ton of times. Shows bunt, pulls it back. 6 times these 3 have reached base in their first 6 ABs. Kendall trying to push that average back towards 200. Came into this ball game batting 174. Game 1 for Kevin was a good one. He went 2 for 3. Line drive into left field. This one's going to hang up for Hauver, who settles underneath it and makes the catch for the first out of the inning.
That's, again, great contact from Kevin Kendall. Walk, single, And a hard fly out.
Austin Maisel has been great at the plate in this one. That 2 RBI single back in the second gave the Doors a 2-1 lead, and then in the fourth he walked, facing 2 outs, loaded up the bases. Pops the first pitch he sees up into the air along the left side. Jordan Westbrook's going to call for it, make the catch quickly, 2 outs.
Swinging first pitch or second pitch from Drabick. I think they're just eager to put the ball in play and get a hit. Maybe some frustration after that call by the third base ump. Maybe be a little bit more patient. Try to get some better swings because right now you're helping out Hyannis and Drabick.
Drabick allowed a triple and an RBI single to the first 2 of the first 3 batters he faced in the 5th inning. Has settled down since then. Tim Tawa, representing the top of the order, will take another AB as he watches a pitch miss outside. Had a 2 RBI single back in the 4th that put the Doors within 1. 1-0 to the Stanford Cardinal. Popped up along the first base side, but it'll drift into the crowd. Don't want to blame umpiring, but yesterday, missed call by the third base umpire definitely changed the course of the game. And today, what could be a Falmouth lead is instead a tie ball game as we enter the final couple frames. Quickly 1-2 to Tawa.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Falmouth just has to erase it from their memory, though. And right now, as you said, tie ball game. You got 2 more chances to score some runs in the 6th and the 7th. Just try to get it done that way.
The 1-2 to Tim is popped up again along the first base side. Might be playable for Ian Fair, who comes off the bag. Watches it settle just beyond the fence. Zach Brixey looks nice and warm in the Doors bullpen. Ready to come on in the 7th. Was hoping it'd be a safe situation. Instead, he's hoping for a possibility of, I guess, could be a save if Tawa can get on base. But maybe a win. 1-2, checks his swing on a slider, but he definitely goes around. 1-2-3 inning worked by Tyler Drabick as Tawa caps it off with a swinging strikeout. We'll head to the final inning. Top of the 7th we go, tied up at 5 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20.
Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field. Top of the 7th set to begin. Danny LaRose and David Korzenowski with you in Falmouth, Massachusetts. David, rev those engines. We're going around the Cape League.
Let's do it. First game of the day was at 12 noon out at McKeon Park. Falmouth Commodores beat the Hyannis Harbor Hawks 9-5, and then they get in their cars and come here to Gov Fuller Field, where game 2 is tied at 5 apiece. In the final frame here in the 7th, Orleans beats up on YD 7-2 out at Red Wilson Field. It's a big win for the Firebirds. Yarmouth Dennis has also clinched a playoff spot after a win last night. Bourne puts a 10 spot on the Brewster Whitecaps out at Stony Brook Field. That game was televised on Nesson.
Chopper over towards third base. Trey Cruz takes his time with it, throws out Rowdy Jordan for the first out on the first pitch of the 7th.
And then we'll finish it up. Katuitt up 2 on Wareham in the top of the 5th. 2-0 is the score out at Spillane Field. Remember, with a Falmouth tie or win, they clinch the Western Division. Also with a Wareham loss, they clinch the Western Division. So Falmouth looking in decent shape to do either or both. And Harwich up on Chatham for the 2nd straight game. They won 5-1 yesterday against the Anglers, and they're up 4-0 now in the bottom of the 3rd out at Veterans Field.
Eastern Division is definitely one to look at. We know that Chatham and YD have locked up some playoff spots. They're comfortably in 1st and 2nd. Count now 1-1 to Anthony Servideo. But the Harwich Mariners, the Brewster Whitecaps, the Orleans Firebirds all fighting for the final two spots. Here's a clock shot into right field. Barron Radcliffe is back. This one's off the wall. He's going to dig it out, throw into second base. Will come into the cutoff man. It's the first hit of the summer off of a lefty for Anthony Servideo, and the go-ahead run is in scoring position for the Harbor Hawks.
And the one was worth the wait, right? A two-bagger to deep right field. Thought it might have been gone off of the bat. We know Langworthy can give up some bombs because he leaves it pretty meaty over the plate. You got to be really careful here, especially to Jordan Westberg, because he is 1 for 3. Single and a 3-run home run in game 1. Can't leave him anything too juicy.
First pitch to the righty from Mississippi State is bounced towards short. Kendall fields it, throw on to first, pick made out of the dirt by Steven Moretto. We've seen a couple of low throws that Moretto wasn't able to come up with. That time he does. It's the second out of the inning, but Servideo advances another 90 feet.
And it feels like ever since that sac fly double play, this game's been moving at lightning speed. Pitchers moving quickly, 1, 2, 3 innings worked. No time for these teams to catch their breath.
Ian Fair 1 for 3 with a single, ropes one towards short. It's fielded on a one-hop on a backhand by Kendall, and the Doors will get out of the inning. A couple of hard-hit balls, and the first base runner for Hyannis since the third gets stranded at third base, as this game will at least end in a tie. Remember, 7-inning games and no extra innings to be played for the rest of the regular season on the Cape, as Austin Langworthy gets out of a sticky situation. He allows no runs on one hit, no errors, and strands a runner on third base. Final half inning we go from Falmouth, tied up at 5. We'll be right back.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Final half inning set to begin from Gov Fuller Field in Falmouth, Massachusetts. The Doors and the Harbor Hawks tied at 5, so at the very least they will tie for potentially the second time this summer, but Falmouth looking for a victory. They'll have Blake Dunn, Zach DeLoach, and Trey Cruz coming up to the plate to try to squeak across just one run and get a walk-off win.
Now batting the center fielder from Western Michigan University, number 23, Blake Dunn.
Still Tyler Drabick on the mound for Hyannis, who was shellacked in his first inning of work, allowed a couple of hits and a run, but worked a quick 1-2-3-6. Dunn so far 0 for 3, a couple of pop-outs and a strikeout. He hasn't gotten good contact all night. First pitch from the righty is bounced over towards short, and this should be the first out. The throw from Westberg in time, 1 up, 1 down.
Teodosio into the game out in right field for Hunter Goodman. Still Drabick on the mound for Hyannis. We've seen a lot of balls hit to short tonight for both teams.
Yeah, that's true. Don't know what it may be. I think a lot of the pitchers we've seen in this ball game, a lot of breaking balls, a lot of slow fastballs. I mean, Logan Hoffman doesn't really hit 90 too much. Murphy was right around 90, and players have been ahead of the baseball. Zach DeLoach, who's 1 for 3 with a triple his last time up, will step up to the plate. First pitch to the Aggie from Texas A&M is a fastball low and away. Drabick has only thrown now 17 pitches.
He's been great.
Falmouth has been swinging a lot early. They've been good pitches, just haven't been getting the bounces they need. 1-0 to the lefty is taken just on the outside black, 1-1.
Falmouth, one of 3 teams left on the Cape with just 1 tie. It's them, the Bourne Braves, and the Harwich Mariners.
Drabick's 1-1. Foul ball. Zach Deloach, 5 home runs and 21 RBIs on the summer. Would love number 6 and 22 in each of those categories. Bullpen would love it too. They are standing on that bench as we've seen them multiple times before. The 1-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Beautiful 84-mile-an-hour breaking ball gets Deloach swinging, and we are 1 out away from another tie ball game.
Deloach with a big swing. It was a tailing off speed pitch that broke off the plate to the lefty Deloach, and he can't follow up his triple. He scored the tying run of the ball game. Claunch behind him with what we thought was the leading run.
First pitch to Trey Cruz is a fastball well off the plate. He's 0 for 3, trying to extend his 5-game hitting streak into 6 games and trying to get a Falmouth victory on probably should be a win for them. As you mentioned, that call costing them a run. Austin Langworthy was great for the Doors in the final couple of innings they had out in the field. He went 2 innings of work, allowed 1 hit, and struck out 1. 2-0 on the outside part of the plate.
Got to be patient up here if you're Trey Cruz. I know with 2 outs you might be thinking home run. Putting it in play is just as good. Try to find a hole.
Trebick kicks and fires. That pitch sinks below the knees. Friendly hitters count to Trey, 3 balls and a strike. Similar numbers to Zach Deloach, a batting average over 300. 3 home runs, 21 RBIs. Here's the pitch. Fly ball into center field. This should do it. Rowdy Jordan camps underneath it. He'll make the catch for the final out of the ball game. The Doors and the Harbor Hawks tie for the 2nd time this summer as the record, the season series, ends up at 3-2-2. Falmouth does clinch the season series, and they do clinch first place in the Western Division. So not all bad with that missed call from third base, but definitely a sour taste in their mouth. But again, a tie got the job done, and the Doors are going to have home field advantage till at least the Cape Cod Championship game if they get that far.
Yeah, so there's a chance that Wareham wins out and Falmouth would lose the next 4 games. If so, Wareham and Falmouth would be tied with 52 points. But the first tiebreaker in the Cape League is head-to-head record, and Falmouth is 5-0 against Wareham. So they have locked up the 1 seed, and it is kind of anticlimactic. That's the word that comes to mind. It wasn't, with a hurrah or a walk-off, but they get the job done. They get a tie. They move to 3-1-2 against Hyannis on the season. And now they have 3 matchups against Katuitt coming up.
You don't want to say backed their way in because that's usually used when the team that's behind them loses, but a little bit kind of sidestep their way in to the first place cemented position. And I think they have a good gripe. They probably could have had 2 points in this one rather than just the 1, but it was third base umpire John DiGirolamo following up Rick Emerson from last night with another blown call. We looked at the replay. Obviously, replay is going to be 2020. Don't have replay on the Cape like you do in college baseball, but it was a pretty sure run. It was a 1-out fly ball into center field. Troy Claunch scored on a sacrifice fly, and they called him out for leaving too early, but he did not.
The thing that stinks about that call is it's such an important call because it's the leading run at the time. And in my opinion, if you're the ump, you're only making that call if it's obvious, if it's an egregious early jump from Troy Claunch. And you can look back on the replay. I mean, what inning was it again? It was the bottom of the 5th. We had Ben here. There's 1 out. And it was a fly ball off the bat of Steven Moretta. You can go back in this same video that you're watching right now. Go back to that exact same at-bat. You see when Rowdy Jordan out in center field catches the ball, and you see Troy Claunch move right after that. It's just disappointing that the Commodores end up with 1 point when they could have had 2.
At least they showed some resiliency, though. They were down 5-2 after a home run off the bat of Jackson Olsen in the 3rd inning. Probably could have been down for the count. Probably could have thought to themselves, well, we've already won 1 against Hyannis. We're already, locked into a playoff spot. We can coast our way in. But they didn't let up. Tim Tawa had a 2 RBI single in the 4th to bring them within 2. Then in the 5th inning, Deloach tripled to lead off the inning, got another run from Troy Claunch, tied up the ball game, ended up being a tie ball game in the end of things. But still, making up those 3 runs in the final stages of this ball game after the starting pitching for Hyannis was looking really sharp.
Yeah, great resilience. 2 RBI single from Tim Tawa. And then Moretto keeps the inning going there in the 4th with reaching on an error. Kendall singles. He had a good day at the plate, a walk, a single, and a hard flyout. And a big storyline that might not be talked about too much. Austin Langworthy comes out, pitches 2 innings of shutout baseball. and they saved Zach Brixey for another day.
Right.
I was a little bit nervous when he came out for the 7th in a tie ball game, but he got the job done. And the thing is, he doesn't really falter on the mound. He just throws his strikes, and he dares hitters to tee him up, and the Harbor Hawks were not able to do it today.
Langworthy definitely was sharp as the Doors and the Harbor Hawks tie up at 5, each team with 5 runs, each team with 7 hits, each team with 1 error. The way Hyannis played today, you wouldn't think of them as only a 7-win team, but they are, and they stayed neck and neck with the Commodores. But I think, again, walking away from yesterday, a loss for the Doors. The missed call by the umpire completely changed the script of the ball game. This one, they have a win snatched from right underneath them on another blown call. This is back-to-back games. This umpiring has been a little bit faulty. Not a little bit faulty. It's been faulty, and I think Jeff Trunny might have a couple solid gripes for the Cape League.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but at the end of the day, that's the final score. They tie the ball game. They're at first seed in the playoffs, and they just got to move on and control what they can control.
Doors will be back in action trying to control what they can control against the Katuitt Kettleers. First pitch coming up at 5 p.m. out at Lowell Park. So be sure to tune in right around 4:50 for our pregame show and then the rest of the broadcast. That'll do it for this edition of Falmouth Commodores Baseball on the Commodores Baseball Network. For us, our sideline reporter Katie Florio, our producer Maxwell Trink, my broadcast partner David Korzenowski. I'm Daniel LaRose saying so long from Gov Fuller Field. Doors and Harbor Hawks tie game 2 of the doubleheader at 5 apiece. Once again, we'll be back in action tomorrow at Lowell Park. For now, have a good night.